Tonight on To The Point, cracking down on ticket fees.
Ticket prices have gone up an astronomical 140%.
The new legislation from California lawmakers hoping to save you cash. Plus the solar eclipse, the stunning images across North America, people of all ages in awe. Preparing for wildfires, how federal officials are staffing up ahead of summer. And later in the show, is there a way to stop those annoying spam calls? We verify if the national do not call list actually works.
Thank you so much for starting your week with us here on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Enough is enough. That's what California lawmakers are saying, wanting to crack down on ticket companies. They say that Ticketmaster and Live Nation are a monopoly and it's hurting customers. Our Jeannie Nguyen shares what new legislation is hoping to change and how Ticketmaster is responding.
I've been to some concerts here at the Golden One Center. I went to the most recent one was Caliucci's.
Kevin Valencia, a Sacramento music fan, uses Ticketmaster every time he attends an event at the Golden One Center. He recently bought 2 tickets for an event priced at $70 each.
When I was checking out, it was like an extra $40 on top of the $140. And then I thought, tax, but that's a lot more. Like, it was 20 and 20, so it was a whole $40 more. So that was almost as if it was a third ticket.
Ticketmaster has at least 4 different fees added onto ticket costs, ranging from service, order processing, delivery, and facility charge fees. But what each charge means, Assemblymember Buffy Wicks argues it's up for debate.
Ticket prices have gone up an astronomical 140%. Which is an extraordinary amount.
On Monday, Assemblymember Wicks introduced Assembly Bill 2808 to provide competition for buying tickets. If this bill becomes a law, it would allow ticket buyers to choose where they can buy their tickets and not be limited to just Ticketmaster. It comes as last year, President Joe Biden called for more transparency on extra fees at checkout, and the DOJ could file a lawsuit later this year.
We also have investigation by the United States Department of Justice on this monopoly. As we speak,
musician and president of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, Jay King, says Ticketmaster's monopoly on the system not only hurts consumers, but also artists.
And when one company controls it all, people feel beholden to them and afraid. Imagine one company controlling your dreams and livelihood.
A Ticketmaster spokesperson tells ABC 10 it supports reforms to improve ticketing, but believes this bill will only encourage ticket sales to secondary sites, saying in part, quote, "This bill will instead undermine the efforts of artists, sports teams, and primary ticketing companies to minimize ticketing scalping." While this bill works its way through the legislature, people like Valencia are pleading for a break.
We spent a lot of money buying drinks in there or merch or something. So if you could help us save 20, 40 more bucks from those tickets, that would be great, because then I could have one more drink.
All right. I mean, that's the truth there.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably what everyone's thinking right now. Yeah. All right, Jeannie with us right now. Now, Assemblymember Wicks, I mean, she did say this is to protect consumers and also to protect those prices as well. But what did Ticketmaster have to say about this?
Well, Alex, a Ticketmaster spokesperson told me today that it believes this bill, AB 2808, will encourage people to resell tickets at a much higher price, adding that they believe this bill will only also block price control tools. Now, as for what Ticketmaster's current fees pay for, a spokesperson would only refer me to their website, and they said that these ticket fees are shared between parties who have a hand in putting these events together, and that includes venues, Ticketmaster, sports teams, leagues, and promoters as well.
All right, and we do want to mention that, of course, this bill still needs to be heard by multiple committees and pass the legislature before it would head to the governor's desk. Jeannie, thank you so much. Of course. All right, while attempts to revitalize North Sacramento's Del Paso Boulevard continue, a boulevard staple is now entering its last week in business. For the last 5 years, Southpaw Sushi has served the North Sacramento area, and the business says that low sales and rising costs are now leading to close their doors. It comes at a time when other businesses along Del Paso Boulevard are also struggling to stay afloat. Interim District 2 Council member Sean Tao says that he hears business owners' frustrations and thinks that more housing in the area could help.
We have a lot of housing development that's coming up. One is the 440 and Arden Way that's going to come to council this Tuesday. And so that was going to bring 124 units to this area.
And while Southpaw's last day is April 15th, Councilmember Tao says that he will prioritize finding resources for existing business owners and continue to help solve the homelessness issue in the district.
All right, tonight police say a person accused of breaking into a credit union over the weekend is still on the run. Now, all this happened around 9 a.m. on Sunday at the Golden One Credit Union out in Lincoln. Officers say the suspect broke into the bank through the roof and then got away. The nearby Safeway and CVS, they were shut down for several hours as officers searched for the suspect, and bank members and neighbors, I mean, they're in disbelief hearing this news. Take a look.
Been probably coming here a little over 18 years. Lived here 30. You don't hear about that here.
You don't expect it, but you got to be careful all the time wherever you're at.
And the Lincoln Police Investigations Unit is reviewing footage from the bank and surrounding businesses. We did ask Lincoln Police if the suspect stole anything from the bank, but they said that they could not disclose due to the ongoing investigation. Golden One Credit Union says that no employees or members were hurt. And if you know anything about what happened, make sure you contact the Lincoln Police Department. All right, all eyes were on the sun and the moon today as a total solar eclipse took place in 15 states across the country. Millions of people traveled to get just a glimpse of the rare phenomenon. And if you missed it, here's Rena Roy in Niagara Falls, New York.
History in the skies across North America today.
And there it is, complete totality.
From Mexico.
Amazingly beautiful, once in a lifetime, beautiful.
And Texas.
This is an amazing, magical experience.
To Arkansas.
There is nothing like it. I mean, you feel like it's otherworldly.
Plus Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
What an event to win. Oh my gosh. Here, everyone is together. Nobody is divided, everyone is unified, and looking up at the sky together and seeing that we really are this small on this planet.
And we experienced the rare phenomenon right here in Niagara Falls, New York, in the path of totality.
It's beautiful. I mean, you see the rim, you see the sun behind the moon. You can hear people cheering because it really is just such an incredible thing.
Crowds gathering across the country to watch the celestial spectacle, a total solar eclipse spanning 15 states. The moon blocking the sun, plunging areas into darkness for about 4 minutes.
It got a lot darker here than it did in Nashville. But the look on her face was priceless.
Unfortunately, the weather conditions in some areas clouding the view for millions of sky watchers.
You can hear people cheering. They're saying, we got it, because we were worried about the cloud cover. We got a glimpse of the eclipse.
The once-in-a-generation eclipse considered the largest mass travel event in the U.S. this year. The event drawing so much excitement and curiosity, partly because the next total solar eclipse seen over the U.S. won't be until August of 2044, according to NASA. And only Montana, North and South Dakota will be in its path.
And coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to introduce you to one man who has now seen his 13th eclipse. Yep, that's exactly right. How his journey started and how it led him to the path of being an amateur astronomer. Next, on To the Point, preparing for wildfires, the new changes to the firefighting workforce, plus what experts are already predicting about this season.
We're seeing a delayed onset of that wildfire season because we're still dealing with rain. Today, the gusty winds, more showers ahead in our forecast, plus some warmer weather in there as well.
And later, are you tired of getting those really annoying spam calls? Well, we verify whether putting your name on the no-call registry will actually make a difference. Peak wildfire season in California is a few months away, but already federal officials are warning that it's expected to be a longer wildfire season. So just in the first 3 months of the year, more than 2,590 square miles were burned, and that's more than half of last year's total. And forecasters are predicting elevated fire potential over the coming months in the Great Lakes region, parts of the Midwest and Southwest, and even in Hawaii.
We know the Great Lakes area is drier than normal, ahead of schedule, and then certain parts of the country are sitting with a significant snowpack, and then other parts of the country are sitting with less than normal. We're going to be busy. I couldn't tell you exactly where right now, but we are going to be busy.
And to prepare, the U Forest Service is pivoting to a new business model that they say will offer more flexibility when responding to wildfires. This will be reflected in 44 incident management teams who will respond to fires across the country based on their training levels.
And let's go ahead and take a look outside, turning to our weather back here now. This is a live look across downtown Sacramento. Absolutely beautiful day. But Monica, are we still going to expect the weather to look like this for the rest of the week?
Well, we'll see plenty of sunshine out there. That's for sure.
Good
The winds
news.
that we had for today, the good news on that is things are starting to calm already. So lighter winds in through our Tuesday, more warmth building into the forecast. Winds right now out of the northwest, 5 to 15 miles per hour, closer to 25 miles per hour towards the coast. Tonight for that evening walk, we'll see those lighter winds, temperatures in the 60s at 7 p.m. and actually just below 70. We're getting to overnight lows in the 40s, though. So we'll continue to drop those conditions rapidly as we head into the overnight hours. Today, we jumped up ahead of average. 70 is that average. We've been sitting well below that for several days when that cold pocket of air moved through with a showery end to last week and into the beginning of our weekend. We've got more weather changes on tap. We'll see warmer conditions midweek, cooler weekend conditions along with rain, thunderstorms, and Sierra snow. So we warm things up for the middle of the week above normal by about 10 to 15 degrees. And then all of a sudden this cold blast of air comes in once again for the weekend. It looks like the timing just isn't quite right for us to get those weekend conditions in here with really sunny skies and warm weather. That takes place on Wednesday into Thursday. Then we start tracking this low. That's what's going to deliver the punch of cold air and some showers throughout the valley, foothills, and the Sierra. Tomorrow, though, we're in the 60s for much of the Sierra as well as the foothills, almost close to 70 for some of the lower foothills. 60s along the coast. Once we head inland, we're in the 70s to near 80, and we'll see that region wide through the valley as well. Morning lows in the 40s, highs in the upper 70s to near 80. You can see that transition take place. So midweek is going to be the warm spot there. Then we head into the weekend with cooler and unsettled weather. Even a slight chance for thunderstorms in there overnight Friday and through Saturday. Our highs drop to the 60s this weekend.
All right, Monica, thank you. Next, on to the point, the 2024 presidential race, why abortion rules are once again in the spotlight. Plus, another airline scare. This time, a Southwest engine cover flies off mid-air. How the FAA is responding. And then later in the show, a new program aiming to give first-time home buyers in California a helping hand and how it could cost you, the taxpayer. Tonight in the 2024 presidential race, the two candidates are butting heads again over abortion rights. President Joe Biden blasting former President Donald Trump for announcing that he believes abortion laws should be left to the states, and Biden saying it should be a fundamental right for all Americans. And this as the president travels the nation today, unveiling a new student loan forgiveness plan.
President Biden making a campaign swing through swing states, announcing a sweeping new student loan plan today in Wisconsin that could slash debts for tens of millions of Americans.
By freeing millions of Americans from this crushing debt of student debt, it means they can finally get on with their lives.
The plan canceling up to $20,000 for borrowers who, because of interest, now owe more than they borrowed. The White House says it believes this narrow plan will survive legal challenges that doomed last year's proposal.
Bad news for Tony is...
Meantime, political rival Donald Trump taking to social media today to focus on abortion. He now says abortion rights should be left up to individual states.
The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both.
Conservative groups have responded saying they are deeply disappointed. Trump says this is how he believes they will win elections.
You must follow your heart of this issue, but remember, you must also win elections to restore our culture.
Vice President Kamala Harris criticizing Trump today.
Let's all be very clear. If he were to be put back in a position where he could sign off on a law, he would sign off on a national abortion ban.
And meantime, a New York judge has rejected Donald Trump's appeal to delay his upcoming hush money trial. The trial is expected to start next week as planned. Yeah, passengers on a Southwest flight watched this terrifying moment play out from their windows. An engine cover flew off shortly after takeoff. The flight going from Denver to Houston yesterday quickly made an emergency landing, and thankfully, no one was hurt. In a statement, Southwest Airlines calls it a mechanical issue, saying, quote, our maintenance teams are reviewing the aircraft. Now, the FAA is also looking into this in addition to two other Southwest flights from March, which returned to their departure airports after experiencing engine issues.
In your price points tonight, if you have a Bank of America EDD debit card, you have until April 15th to spend it. The EDD issued these cards back on February 15th after a wave of debit card scams throughout the COVID-19 pandemic era. Officials say 850,000 California beneficiaries were notified of the new debit cards issued through Money Network. Now, if you haven't received a new EDD card, you should contact Money Network. Again, you have until April 15th to use the money left on any Bank of America cards. And the lottery is now open for a new California program aiming to help first-time home buyers. So the program is called California Dream for All, and it will allow qualifying people to borrow a 20% down payment to purchase their first home. And it is a taxpayer-funded program with an allotted $520 million from the state general fund, but there are strict qualifications.
You have to be a first-time home buyer, and this is new. You have to be a first-generation home buyer, or at least one of the buyer does, which means that one of your parents couldn't have owned a home.
Now, while you will get a big boost in affording a down payment, it is a shared equity program, which means if you were to sell your house while on the program, you would not keep all of the money. The state would have to be paid back for what they gave you plus interest. And if you do want to learn more about the program and how to apply, you can always visit our website at abc10.com. We all get those really, really annoying calls from numbers that we don't recognize, but is there a really good way to stop them completely? Tonight, Ariane Dantil verifies whether signing up for the Do Not Call registry actually works.
In 2003, the Federal Trade Commission introduced the Do Not Call registry, an opportunity for people to opt out of telemarketing phone calls by registering their phone number. But a verified viewer who signed up for the registry says they're still receiving unsolicited calls, and they want to know how the registry works. So let's verify. Does the National Do Not Call registry stop all unsolicited phone calls? These are our sources. According to the Federal Communications Commission, the Do Not Call registry only stops unsolicited or illegal phone calls from telemarketers, but those aren't the only types of unsolicited calls. The Federal Trade Commission says there are many types of unsolicited calls that the registry doesn't block, like calls from political groups, charities, or debt collectors. So we can verify, no, the Do Not Call registry does not stop all unsolicited phone calls. Oh, and just a heads up, the Do Not Call registry doesn't actually block calls from reaching your phone. It simply tells registered telemarketers not to call certain numbers, which is why the FTC says being on the registry won't stop calls from scammers making illegal calls. Now, if an illegal robocall is made, those companies can be fined more than $50,000 per call.
All right, next on To The Point. From Maine to Mexico, thousands of people got to experience the total solar eclipse. But this event was an extra special historical milestone for one man. All right, millions of people watched the total solar eclipse today. And for one man in Texas, it was a milestone as he celebrated witnessing his 13th eclipse. Jobin Paniker has the story.
This one over here.
When you grow up in rural Ohio,
They were just hard-working farmers.
you get a different view of the world.
That's our first child.
Open skies and stars you can name.
You see one, you want to see them all.
Laverne Beiser was hooked after witnessing his first solar eclipse in 1963.
Not a puff of smoke, not a sip of liquor, not a drug of any kind. Lots of chocolate milk, and lots of good.
Laverne is an amateur astronomer. He became a mechanical engineer and worked on planes. He could take wood and make wonderful.
I made that bed.
Like furniture, telescopes, but neither is his first love.
That was back in 1945.
Laverne didn't just make things, he made memories.
She was smart and beautiful.
What he can't remember, he can find in his closet.
Marion said she would marry me. Yippee.
Marion Beiser is his wife of 78 years. She died last year.
I miss her a lot. We were always together. She saw all of them, too.
They traveled the world to see the eclipse, planned all their vacations around them. This time will be the first total eclipse without her.
You'd be sorry that she wasn't there with you.
For the first time for Laverne Beiser in North Texas, the eclipse is coming to him.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it for anything.
And he'll be with family.
Yeah, enjoy the moment. That's it. Enjoy the moment.
He also won't miss a chance to be engineer.
Take 2 paper plates and a pencil.
And astronomer all at once.
Let the sun shine on the other one. That's not just a point of light. That's a picture of the sun.
This total solar eclipse won't happen in Texas for another 300 years. Laverne says live in the moment. Drink it all in.
Nothing better than that in the whole world.
And don't forget the chocolate milk.
I would have a beautiful, caring wife, too. That helps.
Enjoy the moment, you guys. You have to. All right, NASA says the next total solar eclipse that'll be visible from the U.S. won't be until August 23rd, 2044. Make sure you mark your calendars. The path is only expected to shadow 3 states, which are Montana and North and South Dakota. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. We love telling your stories, and you already know we love getting to meet you. So if you have something you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten a chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. Have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.